This is the video presentation of Grandma's Apple Orchard, or what could be said as the perfect orchard with only 12 trees. And by the way, how did she do it? Our speaker is John Bunker, and he's coming in from Palermo, Maine, which is a little outside of Belfast, Maine, on the East Coast. That's the town seal. And here's the front of Palermo Library, where John sat and spoke during this recording. This is a rural area, and high-speed internet is not necessarily accessible everywhere. So this is where John goes to do his Zoom presentations and recordings. So a big tip of the glass to all the folks at the library, specifically Sharon Nichols, who made this video accessible to Cider Chat. And by the way, my name is Rhea Windcaller. I am the producer and Cider MC at Cider Chat, a weekly podcast with makers, cider enthusiasts, and folks within the cider trade from around the world. Cider Chat is now in its 6th season with over 260 episodes. So go ahead, press that subscribe button. There's a lot more Cider Chat waiting for you and special talks like this from John Bunker. Let's turn now to John Bunker as he brings us in with a quote from Dostoyevsky, a Russian novelist.
So welcome everybody. I'm glad to have you joining me here tonight at the Palermo Community Library. And I want to thank everybody at the library for helping to make this happen, especially Sharon Nichols. And thank you to all of you for coming tonight. And also thank you to all those who have taught me, guided me, explored with me, worked with me, shared with me, and joined with me over the years as I've done this work. So I'm going to start tonight with a quotation from Dostoyevsky, the famous Russian novelist. And this is something that a friend sent me an article from the internet, and it had this quote in it by Dostoyevsky from his journals or notes or something from 1876. So this is Dostoyevsky. I'm not sure how all this will happen, but it will happen. There will be an orchard. Mark my words, though it be 100 years from now, humanity will be renewed in the orchard, and the orchard will restore it. That is the formula. While traveling throughout Maine's 16 counties, tracking down, identifying, preserving old apple varieties, I've thought a lot about why we should go to all this effort. Aren't they just apples? Actually, no. I think they're far more than that. Throughout history, the orchard has been a place of myth and mystery, food and drink, hard work, frivolity, and yes, renewal. I think that the Maine orchard is the best place on earth. Now, not only did I have the good fortune, and still do, to rediscover many ancient old apple trees with their fruit of every size, shape, and color, but the dessert apples were rare. Nearly all apples were cooked or processed in one way or another. In fact, just today, my wife, Cammie, was cutting up apples to dry them above the wood stove. We have a sort of a netting on a rack, and we can slip it up between the rafters up in the ceiling in the kitchen. So the wintertime is a perfect time to dry apples if you have a wood stove. I think dessert apples are actually sort of overrated anyway. I'd rather cook them. After all, if an apple a day keeps the doctor away, what about 10 apples or 20 apples? You can easily eat 4 or 5 apples sauced up with your oatmeal for breakfast. And that's 9 in the morning. You still have several hours left to eat many more. I make applesauce almost every day, and I make just 4 or 5 apples. I would get them out of the root cellar, cut them up, put them in a little saucepan with a little water, put them on the stove, and they'll cook up quick. You don't need to make a big vat of applesauce. You don't need to can it. You don't need to freeze it. Just make it as you need it. When you eat Black Oxford or a Rolfe or a Kavanaugh or a naked-limbed Greening, you're eating the same apple that someone ate 2 centuries ago. You can be standing here beside an old tree, and magically you're transported back to another time, still connected to the same place, the same tree, the same fruit. From that vantage point 200 years ago, you can then look forward to the present and on to the future. It's incredible. You can be at 2 places at once, or is it one place in many different times? It's time traveling right here in your own backyard. From this orchard, we can take the long view. We can have perspective. We can let go of what is not important and envision a new path to the future. Someone in the past, we'll never know, planted these old trees for us. Now, we get to use this gift while we're here. We'll mulch and mow and prune and pick, smell the flowers in May, lie in the shade in August, press cider and drink it with friends under the stars in January while we sing wassail songs, toast the trees, and remember how privileged we are to be here at this moment in time. So I look out for the rarest varieties and I graft young trees to keep them going for future generations. As I renew, I too will be renewed. Caring for the orchard is a big responsibility. Or is it an opportunity? Maybe responsibility and opportunity are just 2 sides of the same apple. Then someday, like the baton in a relay race, or the eternal torch in the Olympics, I'll pass our orchard on to someone new, someone I may never know. Maine's ancient apple trees are dying out. Before long, they will all be gone. The last big push for all these interesting varieties, dozens of them, hundreds of them, was towards the end of the 19th century, about 150 years ago. The old trees live about 150, sometimes 200, but 150 is we're starting to lose a lot of them now. They're going. And with them, many of the old varieties and many of the old ways will also disappear. Or will they? But I'm too old to plant apple trees, you might say. I'll be dead before they bear any fruit. Where we place ourselves in the relay race is unimportant. It's a circle after all. And a circle has no beginning and no end. Maybe we're the planter. Maybe we're the grafter. Maybe we're a steward along the way. Maybe those who planted and grafted this tree that I love so much died before ever getting to taste the fruit themselves. 2 days ago, several of us visited a bunch of ancient apple trees in Prospect, which is on the other side of Waldo County. It's in the northeast corner of Waldo County, and I'm in the southwest corner. It was great. We trucked around. We, of course, most of us were in separate cars, but anyway, we stopped at several places and met some old timers and saw some really fun ancient trees. And I couldn't help but wonder, did those who grafted and planted those trees ever get to taste the fruit? Maybe they knew they never would. Maybe they did this for us. Fortunately, some Mainers are planting apple trees again, as they did long ago. In some locations, the small orchard is actually making a comeback. But we need more. We need lots of Mainers to plant orchards and put down deep roots in their own lives, to be there, to climb the trees, prune the branches, pick the fruit, grow communities. Here and there, Maine grade schools have even planted orchards on the school grounds. What if all children beginning in kindergarten spent a bit of time every day learning the basics of gardening and orcharding? What if they all graduated high school knowing how to stratify apple seeds, do a bark graft, prune trees? What if every child was fully capable of renovating a piece of land and growing a garden and an orchard if they wanted to? For the final exam of the year, we'd lay out unlabeled 30 Maine apple varieties on a table, and everyone would ID them and write a little essay about each with its history and its uses. Maybe a people who love to grow their own food and do it well is true food security. We have hundreds of thousands of acres of unused farmland. What are we waiting for? We teach our young people how to type on a keyboard and search on the internet. Let's also teach them how to type up a farm journal and search the landscape for the last of those ancient apple trees. Even home could become school again, as it was for so long. Graham, I decided to pick us a basket of St. Lawrence because, the spice sweets really aren't ready yet. They need a few more days. Over 300 historic Maine apple varieties have been preserved at Mofka's Maine Heritage Orchard up in Unity. More will follow. The 300 include the best apples for pies, the best ones for sauce, the best ones for molasses, and so on and so on and so on. Were it not for the efforts of Mofka staff, volunteers, and folks all over the state, many of these varieties would be gone forever already. Many others are in danger of extinction. Now, some are making their long overdue comeback. As we rediscover the joys of committing to place, and as we create the agriculture for the 21st century, let's engage in a little time travel. Let's incorporate the best of the past and the best of the present to create an even better future. Grandmother's 12-tree orchard was once the heart and soul of every Maine farm. It will be again. The apples are longing to be planted in your yard. They want you to put down your roots with them here in your community now. When Dostoyevsky wrote about the renewal in the orchard, he talked about 100 years. That 100 years is now. He, although none of us were alive, He knew that he was speaking to us now. He meant us. We are it. So if it all goes well, in 100 more years, your 12-tree orchard will still be putting out fruit, inspiring new generations across the state and beyond. Mark my words, though it be 100 years from now, humanity will be renewed in the orchard, and the orchard will restore it. That is the formula. In humanity's renewal, let the apple trees lead the way. Thank you.
And here are 2 recommended websites from John, both Maine Organic Farmers and Gardeners Association.org and outonalimapples.com, where you can find more links to John's videos and presentations. And here he is holding up a handmade sign by himself. The man is a wonderful artist. And a big tip of the glass, of course, to Palermo Library, who was kind enough to share this video recording with Cider Chat. And before you head out to your own orchard or look up outonalimapples.com to find sign, wood, and apple trees, make sure to hit the subscribe button for Cider Chat. Hope to see you soon in Ciderville.